Welcome everybody to another Voice of Nick video editing show. We're going to be doing more of our MGS3 review here. And so we have the project set up, we have our stuff in the sequence, and now we're going to start creating our sort of like breakdown sequence, which is going to have all of the sound bites. So let's get started on that. Yeah, what do we got here? We finished Metal Gear Solid 3 and intro. We finished Metal Gear Solid 3 and remember I kind of described every other Metal Gear game as a masterpiece already? Well, this one is too. Get used to it. Let's look at Metal Gear Solid 3. This game is so good. Good. So, plotline-wise, we finished Metal Gear Solid 3, and maybe it's better to say that it's an old Snake that we get to meet. I thought I had done 2 intros. Maybe it was in a different file? I think these ones were just tests, though. Yeah, this is 5 seconds. There's no way it could be long enough.
1, 2, 3.
Oh wow, that was when I didn't have my mic plugged in. Solid 3, and yeah, it's a different soundscape. All right, well I guess I only did 1 intro then. I could have absolutely sworn I did a second one. So plotline. Oops. Double oops. So, plotline-wise, it's a new generation of Snake. Well, or an old generation of Snake, let's say. Maybe it's better to say that it's an old generation of Snake. We're going back to 1964 into a CIA task force called the Fox Unit. And they head into Russia to try and clean up some yeah, there's this mic that I'm using for these phone ones is the same one that I use on those art streams, and you may have noticed on the art streams that sometimes it just gets really abrasively loud when it rubs on clothes because the windscreen is broken off. And I gotta get a better mic for that those purposes because it's starting to cause problems. To Russia to try and clean up some mess that's going on, try and save some guy, and they send Snake in to do it. This new young fresh-faced Snake that we get to meet. He goes in there, saves this guy, immediately gets betrayed by his most trusted mentor and left for dead. And this all goes down in the span of like the opening sequence of the game. They shoot off a nuclear missile, which then causes a huge international crisis. Cold War is threatening to go really hot. Everybody's ready to kill each other. all the nations are ready to kill each other, and essentially to patch things up, the United States asks, Snake to go back. You can hear there are points of extreme distortion in this mic. I wonder if our audio thing is going to fix that. Let's put the gain on this first, and then this. It all goes down in the span of like. Okay, so the hard limiter doesn't apply for some reason still. We have to add it ourselves. And this all goes down in the span of like the opening sequence of the game. They shoot off a nuclear missile, which then causes a huge international crisis. Cold War is threatening to go really hot. Everybody's ready to kill each other. all the nations are ready to kill each other. Yeah, you can still certainly hear the distortion. But obviously there's no way to get rid of distortion once it exists in an audio file. It does fix some of the minor issues. But for now, we're going to actually remove these because it screws up the processing power. Well, actually, maybe not now. Let's leave this on, and we'll see if it does anything, because this used to be an issue when we were doing it on the old iteration of this PC. And since I added the the new stuff, maybe it will not have the same problem.
This Cold War is threatening to go really hot.
Oh yeah, look, this is, for some reason, this doesn't have the hard limiter on it.
Everybody's ready to kill each other. All the nations are ready to kill each other. And essentially to patch things up, the United States asks Snake to go back in there and be the one to take down his former mentor. It's really it's interesting because this game is a lot less of the kind of like zany sci-fi stuff that Kojima typically does with all these like techno soldiers and psychics and all these things. There's still our themes.
It's funny because they literally do have both of those things in this game, but in a different way, I guess.
Going out throughout the game that have like a little bit of supernatural to it. Definitely, still doesn't drop a lot of the stuff that Metal Gear is known for. But this game feels a lot more like historical fiction mixed with kind of Kojima's sci-fi interests in there. It's a lot more of an origin story in every sense of the word. You're sort of setting up the large web of interconnected kind of crazy situations that end up happening in future or earlier Metal Gear titles that take place later in the canon. They're all getting set up here. We're meeting characters that we know from later. We're seeing how things got started in all different respects. And
this is me trying to talk my way around saying anything about the storyline that I would not want to reveal. We're gonna carve out an interesting piece from this, though. It'll work out.
Kojima just does a great job here of kind of making this a very digestible story. Metal Gear Solid 3 almost works. I think this works totally as a game in its own right, even if you don't play any of the other Metal Gear games, because it does feel like a very self-contained plot line. The storyline here is kind of like a little bit of a historical. The storyline here is kind of like a little bit of a historical fiction and a little bit of kind of like a man versus wild survivalist story. Because we have a lot of gameplay that reflects this new locale that we're in. We're in the jungles of Russia. So Snake is actually trying to...
Okay, so this is kind of a hybrid where talking about the story gets us into a thing about the gameplay. Yeah, I guess we'll just call it both. Good. And we're going to try this without the proxies. It's funny, the proxies make it look so blurry compared to the regular video. But we're going to see if this machine can hold up. There's something about the iPhone, not necessarily the iPhone's codec, but once we bring in those YouTube videos, that's going to need proxies because those YouTube's codec is like really bad with Premiere. So we'll see how that goes. But ladies and gents, that's going to do it for the video editing episode this time. We're working our way through the original footage that I shot. I'd say we're probably like 15 to 20% through it. I shot a lot of stuff. We're going to cut that down into a small video. Last time we cut down about 20 minutes of footage into a nice 6-minute video. So we'll see how short we can make this one once we've gone through. Let's get a link in that chat though. If you want to find where you can watch these videos when they're finished, you can go on YouTube and look for the channel called Voice of Nick Vlogs. That's the channel where these end up when they're done. We just posted the newest one, I believe, 2 days ago. That's our MGS2 review. If you go on that link that you see in the chat there, you can follow that channel. You'll see all 12 videos that we've already posted. This one we're working on will soon be the 13th. And guys, I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.